And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Thursday, August 29th. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. New on News 12 Now, a Gunnerman who pleaded guilty to 10 counts of child pornography will not serve time in prison. Online Grayson County court records show 37-year-old Andrew Hilton was given 10 years probation at his sentencing this morning. Hilton was arrested 2 years ago when law enforcement say they got a cyber tip. Officers found more than 100 images and videos of girls under 18 on his Dropbox account. An officer-involved shooting in Princeton early this morning ends with both the officer and the suspect in the hospital. The police department says it started around 3 this morning as in an assault call on Princeton Drive. They say the suspect, who was found a few blocks away, attacked the officer, leading to both the officer and the suspect getting shot. And in the last few weeks, Oklahomans may have seen billboards reading, "You are not alone." These were revealed to be part of the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics' new initiative to help fight human trafficking. The OBN Human Trafficking Unit and their partners are hoping to use this project to reach high-risk demographics and trafficking victims. The initiative consists of posters and stickers that will be displayed in communal areas where people can find detectives to human trafficking and mental health resources. Schools and businesses wanting to have posters and stickers to display at their locations are encouraged to contact OBN. Well, turning to weather now, meteorologist Briggs is joining us. Brian, we have a Thursday night lights happening tonight, and we also have some rain possibly happening tonight. What all should we be expecting with that?
Yeah, definitely a chance out there. It's going to be pretty toasty too, so we need to stay hydrated going into those games. But yeah, we are keeping an eye on the radar here as we head into later this afternoon and evening. At least right now, though, definitely feeling like summer across Texoma. Low 90s pretty much across the board, and quiet for now. But notice that there is a cluster of little thunderstorms kind of rolling up from the south and east here. So max radar showing that not quite to Dallas yet, but this is what could be moving into our area here as we head later into this afternoon. So kind of several hours away. Day planner not really on board with that, but I tend to disagree with day planner a lot. I think it's accurate on the temperature, so mid to upper 90s expected with at least a mix of sun and clouds and yeah, hot conditions out there. So Friday night football not looking much better because we actually have better ingredients in place for more thunderstorms. So it's looking fairly soggy, and also our Labor Day weekend looking like that as well. So we're going to break all the latest details down here in just a little bit. Till then, back to you, Kylie.
All right, thank you, Brian. The dry, hot weather plays a big role in the influx of grass fires in Grayson County and contributes to the burn bans in more than 100 Texas counties. And there are possible consequences when it comes for outdoor burning, whether there's a burn ban or not. If you're violating a burn ban in effect, you can be cited and fined up to $500. And you can also be charged if fire spreads beyond your property.
When there is no burn ban in effect, the state of Texas still has laws regarding the time of day, the weather conditions, when and what you can burn.
Anytime you burn outdoors, you're supposed to call your county dispatch center to let them know you're doing a controlled burn. The city of Tishomingo and Murray State College officially partnered to share their water system with the city. The 25-year agreement allows the city to connect its existing infrastructure at Murray State to the city's, improving the sustainability of the city's lone water source, Pennington Creek. The connection project is set to begin this fall. Over the last few weeks, we've talked a lot about scammers calling and acting like they work for different sheriff's offices, whether that's Bryan County, Grayson County, Fannin County, and also Cook County, just to name a few. There has been a trend this summer where scammers impersonate officers over the phone and threaten people with a warrant or an arrest if a fine isn't paid. And while it's not uncommon for officers to make phone calls, they will never ask for money or financial information over the phone. I'll repeat that one more time. They will never ask for money or financial information over the phone. Officials say if you get a call from someone claiming to be an officer, make up an excuse and get off the phone as soon as possible.
You can often say, I'm in a hurry right now, or I'm stepping into a meeting, or I can't speak right now, but I'll call you back in a minute, and then don't call the number that called you.
Instead, look up the official number for the officer or the agency and call that one. And by limiting the type of information you put on social media and avoiding sketchy websites, you can protect yourself before a call like that even comes through. And speaking of scams, Bryan County released today that they want you to look out for another one. People have been receiving phone calls and emails from people claiming to be a Bryan County deputy asking for payment to clear a warrant. Always remember, the Bryan County Police Department will never call or email you if you have a warrant. One of America's largest megachurches is seeing an exodus after a child sexual abuse scandal surfaced this summer. The founder of Dallas's Gateway Church, Robert Morris, resigned in June after he admitted to having inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady in the 1980s. Since Morris stepped down, at least 3 other pastors left the church. Gateway Megachurch used to draw about 100,000 people to its weekend services throughout its 11 locations, but since the scandal, attendance dropped by nearly 20%. An Oklahoma Republican lawmaker has formally asked the federal government to investigate the Oklahoma State Department of Education. In a letter to the U.S. Education Secretary, State Representative Mark McBride cited the department's handling of federal funds. Among a list of complaints, McBride says he was concerned about the management of billions of dollars in federal funds for Title I and Individuals with Disabilities Education Act programs. McBride says he believes the biggest problem comes from the dozens of longtime Education Department staff members who have resigned since State Superintendent Ryan Walters took office. Well, a parent's worst nightmare has become a legal case that could change the face of social media. 10-year-old Nyla Anderson died after taking part in a so-called blackout challenge, which went viral on TikTok. A U.S. appeals court is now allowing her mother's lawsuit against TikTok to move forward. Jolene Kent has the story.
She was my butterfly. She was everything any mother can ask for.
Tawana Anderson has been fighting for years to get justice for her daughter, 10-year-old Nyla.
That's her twin brother.
She died in 2021 from attempting the blackout challenge that dared people on TikTok to choke themselves until they lost consciousness. Social media companies are typically shielded from liability for the third-party content that appears on your feed under a federal law from 1996 called Section 230. Yet last month, a Supreme Court ruling changed that.
The Supreme Court ruled the algorithms on these platforms are protected speech of the platforms. That looked like a victory for the tech companies, except if the algorithms are protected speech of the tech companies, then they're also liable for the outcomes of those algorithms.
Anderson's lawsuit claims TikTok targeted Nyla by recommending blackout challenge content to her.
The For You page isn't just videos posted by others. It's its own expressive product when TikTok compiles it in a certain fashion, and they do it to keep the user engaged.
On Tuesday, an appeals court judge in Philadelphia revived the lawsuit, ruling that TikTok makes choices about the content recommended and promoted to specific users, and by doing so is engaged in its own first-party speech.
Big tech just lost their get-out-of-jail-free card.
What is the family hoping to get out of this case now that it will go to trial?
So the family's hoping to make sure that companies like TikTok use their vast technology to make sure children are kept safe online.
According to Business Week, Nyla was one of at least 15 children under age 12 who died as a result of the challenge since 2021. The family declined an interview today, but Nyla's mother talked with CBS News last year.
That's my question to them. How many more children until this stops?
TikTok did not respond to our multiple requests for comment, and now this lawsuit has been kicked back down to a lower court to begin that long process towards a trial. Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And as we look at more national stories, here are 3 things for you to know. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says at least 9 people have died and dozens have been hospitalized in the country's largest listeria outbreak in more than a decade. Newly released federal records show USDA inspectors turned up nearly 70 violations at the Boar's Head plant in Virginia over the past year, including mildew and black mold and numerous insect sightings. The company has recalled more than 7 million pounds of deli meat and say they immediately addressed all issues the inspectors raised. A major tech firm involved in the global outage this year issues some edgy investor advice. Back in July, a Crowdstrike update to users failed, crashing 8.5 million computers and canceling or delaying flights around the globe. Crowdstrike is offering $60 million in incentives to customers affected by the outage. One of the firm's clients, Delta Airlines, was hit hard. The airline estimates the outage costed about $500 million. And lastly, there are new details in the foiled terrorist attack planned against a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna. The CIA now says they saved the day. The suspects planned to kill thousands and were connected to ISIS. And as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, it was our intelligence agencies who helped foil the plot.
Taylor Swift wrapped the European leg of her Eras tour last week, but not before narrowly avoiding tragedy after authorities foiled a planned terror attack against her shows in Vienna earlier this month.
They were plotting to kill a huge number, tens of thousands of people at this concert, including, I'm sure, many Americans.
Speaking at an intelligence summit Wednesday, the deputy director of the CIA revealed new details about the terror plot, including it was his agency that warned Austrian authorities.
I can tell you within my agency, I'm sure in others, there were people who thought that was a really good day. Not just the Swifties in my workforce.
3 suspects are in custody, and authorities say the mastermind, a 19-year-old Austrian man, was inspired by the Islamic State. They believe he was planning to attack outside the stadium with knives or homemade explosives.
It's actually really sad that this is actually the world we live in. This concert used to be a safe space for everyone, and now it's just a threat.
All 3 of Swift's Vienna concerts were canceled after the plot was discovered. On Instagram, the pop star said, "The reason for the cancellations filled me with a new sense of fear and a tremendous amount of guilt because so many people had planned on coming to those shows. But I was also so grateful to the authorities because thanks to them, we were grieving concerts and not lives." Around 65,000 fans were expected inside the stadium for Taylor Swift's Vienna shows, with another 30,000 expected to gather outside. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Thank you for watching today's News 12 Now. Make sure to subscribe so you find out why Texoma turns to us. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see more social media exclusive content. Want more News 12 Now? Watch us live every weekday through the KXII app on your phone or TV and through our website.